finally I got a person who was in the program for many years. He talking about religion. Religion is something else, right? Talking about spirituality. And you know the difference between spirituality and religion. You know the difference, yeah. Religion is for people who are afraid of going to hell, and spirituality is for people who've been there. Anyway, I've seen so much spirituality. Let me just tell you one thing. This was at a Al-Anon meeting. The woman who spoke told us to start off by thinking that they just celebrated their 34th wedding anniversary. The first 17 years were drinking years, right? And the next 17 years were recovery. And she talked about, you know, how she got into Al-Anon and she wanted them to tell them how to fix her husband, and they didn't want to do that anyway. But then she said that after several years after marriage, she wasn't getting pregnant, she wanted to have a baby. So she made the rounds of all specialists, and her family doctor sat her down and he said, "Nell, you're going to have to accept this. You will never be able to carry a child." She said, "That was terribly disappointing to me. I mean, I had a good daddy and he never said no to me." So we went to adopt. We adopted a little boy. And I said to my husband, I said, you know, with a child in the house, you can't drink anymore. And he said, "No, I'll never drink in front of a child." Well, you know where that went to. And then we adopted a little girl. And of course his drinking continued. He was a lawyer, and he was the judge in a small town. He was the only judge who had been in his own prison. You know. And then she said, when I turned 40, I decided it was time to give up smoking. So I stopped smoking, and the withdrawal reaction was bad. And I was sick for several weeks, but I stopped smoking. Well, about 3 months later, all of the withdrawal symptoms are back again. He said, "What's this?" So I went to the doctor. I was pregnant. See, miracles happen in the program. And we knew it was going to be a little boy, and he's going to be a Rhodes Scholar like his daddy. She said, "I thought I had gotten rid of all my anger and all my resentment and all my bitterness, but it all came back. It all came back the first time that the nurse put Chrissy in my arms. He was a Down syndrome." I said, "God, why did you do this to me? I was already resigned to the fact that I can't have a child. And so now, after all of this, you put me through the pregnancy, and then now to have a Down syndrome child?" She said, "Now, if that child did not come into the world for anything else, but what I'm going to tell you now, it was all worth it." Because, you see, when I sit and I hold Chrissy in my arms, and I look at him and I see the defects and, you know, in his hands and his face, and the eyes are so funny shaped, right? And I realize how much I love that child, even with all of his shortcomings. That's when I can understand how God can love me with all of my shortcomings. That is spirituality. She said, every night, my husband and I used to pray over the crib. And we said, "God, we know you can do everything. And you've done so many miracles for us already. Just one more. Change him." And we prayed every night. And then one day the miracle happened, and God changed us. I've never heard the Serenity Prayer said in as good and as clear as that. Right? They were praying for the wrong thing. You know, somebody nudged me, and this was in the church basement, and somebody nudged me and they said, "There's more spirituality down here than there is upstairs." Yeah, and there's some truth to that. You don't hear those kinds of things in many places. And so I've watched the program expand from AA to NA to Al-Anon to Nar-Anon to Gan-Anon to GA to OA and to SLA, and the program has so many applications. And the reason that it has so many applications is because the same thing is applicable to all addicts, and that is to become a different person. Now, you can stop drinking, you can stop using, you can stop gambling, but if there is no personality change, then you are what we call a dry drunk. Right? And the personality change has to come with the ongoing working in the steps, with the ongoing working of the meeting. One of my favorite books, of course, the big book, but also there's the book 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. The 12 Traditions doesn't interest me, but the 12 Steps, right?